welcome to Notes on the Journey. I'm Sister Shirley, a daughter of Mary and Help of Christians, aka Salesian Sister of St. John Bosco. Notes on the Journey is a podcast where we will hear different guests share a little bit about their vocation story with the Lord. We will also have the opportunity to listen to a favorite song of theirs that connects to God's call. My hope and prayer for you through this podcast is for you to be encouraged in your own vocation, in your own life journey, appreciate God's work in people's lives, and to hear some beautiful and uplifting song choices. Today we have Sister Val, who is visiting from Laredo, Texas. Sister Val, welcome to Notes on the Journey. I'm super excited that you get to be here. So thank you so much for being willing and available to join today. And Sister Val, please share where you're originally from and maybe a little bit of what you're doing in ministry right now.
Wonderful. Yes. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting. So I'm currently in Laredo right now. Well, I was born in Mexico City. And I moved to California when I was 7. So I'm coming from San Diego County. And like I said, I'm in Laredo, here in Texas. And I'm teaching 3rd grade religion, and I'm helping the 2nd grade with their sacramental preparation.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so Sister Val, I know you've been professed for 2 years now?
No, 9 months.
9. Oh, you're right. Okay, you're right. You're one of our newer sisters. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I'm like thinking you've been a sister since like much longer. Okay, yay. That's kind of a good thing, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
So I've never really gotten a chance to really hear about your vocation, so I'm very excited. Yes. But I know you mentioned to me about sharing a little bit about when you were first discerning as a young adult. Yes. So yeah, share with us. Tell us about that.
Yes. So I was never around sisters. Never. I knew they existed, and they were just nuns, but I had never seen one before. And I was very involved in youth ministry, and I really had my life planned out. I knew that by 24 I wanted to be married. I knew that I wanted to have 4 kids. I knew that if I had a boy, I would name him Mateo. And if I had a girl, I would name her Natalia.
Oh.
And so it's like I had it all planned out. Like I really did have my life planned out. And like I said, religious life was not an option. But I knew that there was just something missing in my life. And, it took me a while to really figure it out. 14, 15, I was totally fine with it. I was even younger than that, actually. I was younger than that. And for many years, I stopped going to church. And so there was someone who I was dating at that time, and he invited me to a retreat. And I said, yeah, I know what that is. I know what those are. Like, thank you, but no thank you, I go home, I tell my mom, like, hey, so-and-so invited me to a retreat, but I said, no, I'm not interested. And she said, pobrecito, like, poor guy, you should accompany him. And, trying to be a good person, I go and I accompany him, and little did I know that the Lord was going to touch my heart. And it was from that day on that I went back to church. I started going back to church. Eventually, I attended a retreat, and I got involved in youth ministry. And even then, it was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like if I wanted to go to church, I'd hang out with my church friends. If I wanted to go out, I'd go with my other friends. And as I matured more in my faith, I realized that I had to make a choice. And I became very involved in youth ministry, which was wonderful. I have some beautiful friendships from that, and it's just been wonderful since. And at that time, like, everything was just right in my life. And then I knew that something was missing, and I couldn't figure it out. I really thought there was something wrong with me, because like marriage was my only option for me. Not because I didn't want anything else, but because I didn't know of anything else. And so I went to a youth conference in LA, and we had adoration. And I just looked at Jesus and I said, you tell me what you want, because I have it all and yet something is missing and I cannot figure it out. Like, I really was trying to figure it out. It was at that moment that I felt him calling me to be his. And obviously I was very scared. I was like, oh my gosh, you got the wrong girl. There's no way someone like me could live this life. But I sought spiritual direction, and my discernment process was very fast, actually. I started discerning, and 10 months later I was in. Yeah, it was wow. It was really fast. It's not really like your normal discernment stories that you hear. It was like, but God had been so patient with me, and I really felt that. And even though it moved really quickly, I knew that it was God's timing, because everything fell into place just perfectly. And it was just a beautiful process. And you know, here I am, 9 months professed, and I'm so happy, and it's been a beautiful journey. It was definitely a transition, not just for myself, but for my family. Like I said, religious life was never an option. No, none of us were really aware of it. So letting my family know, especially my mom, I'm going to discern religious life. She was like, there is no way. No way. She would say, Valeria, look at yourself. Like, vanity was a big sin for me. So I was very vain, and it was like about my hair and my makeup and the way I would dress and what shoes, and oh my gosh, it was like over the top. I was so extra. And she would say, like, look at you. There's no way you're going to let go of all of this. And little by little, like, I started changing the way I dressed. I stopped wearing makeup. I was really discerning, and it wasn't just like for her to see, but the Lord really invited me to start detaching little by little. Was it easy? No. It was a challenge, because I really depended on all those things to just feel good about myself, and self-acceptance, and you know, like seeing the self-esteem that I had at that time. And there was a lot of work interior work to be done, but it just flowed, and he was so patient, and God was so present at, you know, every step of the way. And so it was a beautiful like initial journey. I remember I was going to university at that time, and I had told my mom I was gonna drop out of school. And she said, there is no way. You took out a loan. Your dad and I took out a loan for you. Like, and this was her thing. If you start something, finish it. And I said, I'm not going to finish school, Mom, which was really hard for me to, like, you know, you're an adult, but I'm still disobeying my mom. And it wasn't out of rebellion, but it was out of that calling from God himself. And at one point, when she realized that I was taking this seriously, my discernment, she said, if this is what you want, your dad and I will support you. And that was at the moment, and at that moment she gave me my grandfather's rosary, who had passed away. He's the reason why we ended up here in this country. Going to Mexico, letting my family know, was also a transition. And my grandpa there, nobody was really agreed with it, because this concept is so strange. But when my grandpa gave me his blessing, it was beautiful, you know, and I really wanted him to see me like this, but he passed away when I was in the novitiate. But you know, he was there the day of my profession, so you know, it was an up and down journey, but it was a beautiful one. And everybody's journey is different, you know, and I really do think mine's one of a kind in a strange way. But
yes, it is.
It's a beautiful story, and just the way God wanted it to be, and learning to trust in his plan, regardless of how fast it was, because it did require a lot of trust at that time and a lot of detachment, but it was right. It all felt right, because there was peace. So it was beautiful.
That's awesome. Sister Val, thank you so much for sharing your vocation story. And oh my gosh, I do remember that that visit that you had when you visited our sisters in Bellflower, California. You were come and see Discerner, and I remember that you brought you had asked for the application, and your family came to pick you up, and I was a postulant at the time, and I just remember like, whoa, like that was amazing.
That was a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, the moment I stepped into the convent, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew that this was it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Like, I think it's really amazing to hear about how God has worked in your life in such a quick amount of time, short amount of time.
Yes.
So that's really amazing. And to see how also your family had also journeyed with you in that too.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Thank you. Wow. So just so much good things, or so many good things, so many wonderful things. So thank you.
Thank you.
So what's your love song? What's your vocation song? A song that you would like to share with our listeners today that's connected to your call?
Yeah, so there was a few to pick from, but I actually chose the first song that I really felt where the idea of religious life was in my mind. And this is a secular song. I was driving home from work, and it just came up in my playlist, and automatically I made that connection with God. This song is called Eres, tú eres mi religión, from Maná. It's obviously it's in Spanish. It's a band that I would listen to. And do I tell you a little bit about the song?
Okay, I'd love to hear about it.
Okay, so this song starts off with just saying I was walking without light, without sun, without sense, and I was flying over the sea with broken wings, and you appeared in my life and healed my wounds. Oh love, you are my moon, my sun, you are my daily bread. You appeared with your light, and then it goes and, it's obviously it sounds nice with the music, but it says, no, never, never go. You are the glory of both until death. In a world of illusion, I was abandoned. I lived without meaning, but you came. Oh love, you are my religion. You are my light, you are my sun. Open your heart. And I think this song just relates so much to my story, because I was trying to find meaning in my life. I really felt lost, and I was trying to find answers, and I didn't know what it was. So not that I really felt there was no meaning to life, because thanks be to God, I was surrounded by beautiful people. I was content, but not at peace. And so when it says you came, oh love, you are my religion, you are my light, you are my sun, it's just that's God himself, he is all of that and more, and it was just beautiful how there's so many songs that you can connect to God, but connecting this song as one whom has called me to be his, it was quite the experience, and it's and it was just one of those moments where it's and he continues to call me at that moment, and he's calling me to religious life, and it was beautiful. And I listen to this song every now and then, and it's remember this. So it's beautiful. And that's just a little bit of the translation.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us that little background for the song. Thank you.
Ay, amor, apareciste en mi vida y me curaste las heridas. Ay, amor, eres mi luna, eres mi sol, eres mi pan de cada día. Apareciste con tu luz, no, nunca te vayas, no, no te vayas, no.
so much for sharing that song. Wow. It's just really cool and really beautiful to hear, like, even a secular song, an uplifting one, can really connect to your call. So
yes,
thank you for sharing that, Sister Val. Okay, so before we go, if you could share in 1 or 2 sentences a word of encouragement to any of our listeners out there, say, who is discerning religious life, checking out possibly becoming a sister or being a priest, or the vocation of marriage, what would you tell them as a word of encouragement?
I would tell them to ask God. You know, we make our plans, we plan out our lives, but when we really take the time to pray and to ask Him what it is that He has for our lives, He will reveal it to us. And be open to His plan, be open to His call, because whatever it is that God is calling you to live is what's going to bring you the most happiness. So no vocation comes easy. Nothing is, easy. Every vocation challenges you in one way or another, but know that when we place our trust in God, everything is possible. And pray and go to Mary. I could say so many things, but I'm going to stop there.
Thank you, Sister Val. That's awesome. Friends, thank you so much for listening to Notes on the Journey. If you enjoyed this podcast, recommend it to others. Recommend it to a friend, to your family. And if you would like to learn more about our community, the Salesian Sisters of St. John Bosco, aka Daughters of Mary, Help of Christians, please check out our website, SalesianSistersWest.org. God bless you and have a wonderful day.